What's up, it's Auto Handles, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the D'Angelo Russell trade and what it means for his career. But before I can get into the video, be sure to like and subscribe. Let's begin. I first heard the news that D'Angelo Russell had been traded to the Nets, along with Maxwell Lewis and 3 second-round picks in exchange for Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton on Sunday afternoon. Instead of rushing to make a video, I decided to let the internet be the internet, and it definitely did. I saw countless videos praising how this trade improves the Lakers, saying they've been missing a 3-and-D player like DFS. On the flip side, I also saw plenty of people arguing that this trade doesn't move the needle for the Lakers, and that it's not the kind of move that will instantly bump them up in the standings, and that's kind of the same stance I feel like I've taken at this point. This trade feels like one of those smaller transactions, but I think it sends the right message. Too often, teams have hurt themselves by chasing blockbuster deals, giving up 4 or 5 first-round picks for a star without even considering fit, just trying to land the biggest names. Look at the Brooklyn Nets and the assets they sacrificed to assemble the big three of KD, Kyrie, and James Harden. While they managed to recoup some assets when those players were traded away, other teams are still dealing with the fallout from similar moves. Take the Clippers, for example. They've been surprisingly good this year. Norman Powell has stepped up, and while James Harden's efficiency hasn't been great, he's playing smarter. But Powell's emergence at 31 as the best version of himself was something no one could have predicted. The Clippers are currently tied with the Lakers for 5th in the conference at 18 wins and 13 losses, but the impact of the Paul George trade still lingers. The Kawhi Leonard-Paul George era never quite delivered, and that trade stands out as one of the more costly missteps in recent years. Giving up Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's now better than both PG-13 and Kawhi, along with 5 first-round picks, has left the Clippers in a tough spot, while the Thunder continue to benefit. That's why I think the Lakers made the right call by keeping things simple. Despite all the noise about them needing to make a big move, they opted for a smaller trade. A series of smaller moves over time can quietly build a real contender. Ideally, the Lakers would have started this process sooner, considering LeBron is now officially 40. Today's actually his birthday, which really highlights how much time has passed, and he's made it clear that his career is winding down.
And I wasn't going to disrespect what he's given me, and I'm going to see how long I can do it, but I won't do it till the wheels fall off, I tell you that. I won't do that. I won't be one of those guys. Appreciate it.
If the Lakers only have LeBron for another 2 years at the most, they need to act fast. When LeBron is under roster, rebuilding isn't an option. It's win-now mode. Recently, there have been reports that the Lakers front office is open to trading their 3 available first-round picks. They have their 2029 and 2031 picks and can move their 2030 pick in a separate deal. It looks like the Lakers are ready to sacrifice their future to win this year, which is definitely a risky move. They're betting everything on building a team around LeBron to chase that final championship. Most likely, they're eyeing teams looking to sell. I think the Bulls might head towards a rebuild soon, so they might be selling, and it definitely feels like the right time for them to reset. They've got some promising young talent like Kobe White and Josh Giddey, but it's clear they're looking to move on from Vucevic and Zach LaVine. I could see the Lakers going after LaVine, but I'm not sure if he's the kind of player that truly shifts the needle for them. Right now, the Lakers are trailing teams like the Thunder, Grizzlies, Rockets, and Mavericks in the standings. Even if they land LaVine, it's not a sure thing that he moves them from the 6th seed to the 5th or that he makes them better than the Mavericks. Beyond that, it's also unclear if LaVine would be a real difference maker in a playoff series. That being said, I kind of want to transition to what this trade means for D'Angelo Russell. This feels like an endless cycle. D'Angelo Russell was drafted by the Lakers as a number 2 pick, drafted to the Nets, then bounced to the Warriors, Timberwolves, back to the Lakers, and now the Nets again? It's getting really repetitive. Honestly, I don't know what's next. So Warriors again? There are also rumors that D'Lo might be a buyout candidate, potentially joining a contender. My concern is that he needs to figure out what he really wants. If he ends up on another contender like the Lakers, we've already seen how that story plays out. He's a ball-dominant player, and he might thrive more on a team with less spotlight, somewhere that isn't expected to make deep playoff runs. In that kind of environment, with the ball in his hands and less pressure to win every night, I could see his game reignite. The fit in LA never really worked because Russell isn't a catch-and-shoot player and doesn't bring much to the table outside of scoring, and even that primarily comes from off-the-dribble jumpers. Honestly, I think it's good for him to be out of LA. Reports say that he's happy for a change of scenery, and I think his time with the Lakers, both in his rookie year and now, has made it clear that that type of team just isn't the right fit. His numbers this season reflect that. He's averaging 12 points, down from 18 last year, with 4 assists compared to 6. His three-point shooting has dropped to 33.3% from 41.5% last year, and his overall field goal percentage has gone down to 41.5% from 45.6%. It's been a tough year for him. Stats aside, even just watching him play, it didn't pass the eye test. Things looked rough out there. Now, I want you guys to think back to D'Angelo Russell's first and only All-Star season. He was with the Nets, and while they weren't expected to win many games, they ended up finishing as the 6th seed. Even though they lost in the first round to the 76ers, it was still a surprising run. At the time, no one really expected them to be that competitive. Most analysts predicted that they'd win around 33 games and finish as the 10th seed, missing the playoffs. Instead, they exceeded expectations and won 42 games. That means that Russell thrives when he's underestimated but plummets under lofty expectations. I'm just being honest, that's where he's at right now. Let's say the Nets decide to move on and Russell is on board with finding a new team where he has a better chance to compete. Here are a few teams that could be potential fits after a buyout. First up is the Memphis Grizzlies. They were reportedly interested in Dorian Finney-Smith before the trade deadline, and while that deal didn't happen, they could shift their focus to Russell. If they can sign him on a team-friendly deal after a buyout, he could bring valuable veteran experience to their young core, something that could really pay off in the postseason. Another option is the Orlando Magic, one of the biggest surprise teams this season. Adding a scoring option off the bench could help them stay competitive in the standings. After a strong start to the season, they've cooled off, going 3 wins and 5 losses in their last 8 games. Russell could help keep them afloat until Franz Wagner and Paulo Banchero return. So these are just a few teams D'Lo could consider joining. But what do you think? Who do you think came out on top in the D'Angelo Russell Dorian Finney-Smith trade, the Lakers or the Nets? And if Russell does end up as a buyout candidate, which contender should he sign with? Tell me in the comment section below. Until next time, peace.